We are live. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I got a very special guest, a guy who I bring on here pretty frequently. But today, I was looking through the comments in some of my videos, and I noticed there's a lot of guys out in the rural America, right? Rural, and they're starting their business. I grew up what used to be rural, South Alabama. The county I grew up in's grown a lot. It doesn't feel like the country anymore. But if you go out to Roanoke, where Cody's at, right, that is still rural Alabama, about 6,000 people in that town. So today we're really wanting to talk about how to get customers in a rural area, man. You look out your back door, you take a leak and you look out and all it is woods. Don't feel like no customers are out there, right? But there are customers, but we just got to employ a few different strategies to getting them to write us the check. Today, I got my boy Chris Lonergan from Footbridge Media on the line. What is up, my dog, Chris?
What's going on, Aaron?
Hey, dude, your mic's sounding good, bro. You using them apples or what are you using?
Oh no, I've got the my sturdy blue mic here today. So
Dude, you
I've
were
also
tricking me.
a little under the weather, so I'm more bass right now. So
He's got a little
I think that might be it. It's like an auto filter from my audio.
How you doing, Aaron?
Good evening, everyone. Yeah.
Well, Chris, thanks for joining me, man. Before we jump into this, guys, if you're looking to get a website done, a contractor website, I've had Footbridge Media building my sites for the last 6-7 years now. They came on about a year after I started. I wished I found them earlier. I probably would have made a bunch more money that first year had I had a Footbridge website, or at least been a little farther along. But give them a call. I'll put a banner up here to where you can give them a call. You'll be talking with Aaron over at Footbridge Media, 888-818-7215. Just give them a shout. See if it's right for you. Aaron will shoot you straight. And if you mention Lean and Mean, you'll save $600 a year on your website build from about $249 a month to $199 a month with the Lean and Mean deal. So mention Lean and Mean, save. I know you guys are all about saving that money. Here we go. So Chris, we got a bunch of dudes. They're out in the middle of nowhere, man. They want to start a business. And it doesn't really matter whether it's pressure washing or landscaping or anything in the service contractor. It can seem kind of bleak, man, when you look out and all you hear is the wind whistling through the pines. You're like, wondering where are the customers out here? So we got a few different points today. Chris, what's our first point on how these guys can drum up business in a rural area?
Usually we talk about websites for this kind of stuff here. Websites can definitely work. We talk about city pages and service pages that are targeted to those specific cities. But that's much more of a long haul game. That's something where you're going to get your website up and it's going to take some time for that presence to build up. So in the meanwhile, one of the things that people usually don't like to do is something that's really important, especially if you're going to drum up business locally. You've got to prove yourself as an expert. You've got to be willing to go out there and meet with people and go to these places where your customers are, or where there's a lot of potential for you to wash or to landscape or to work, whatever your job is. You've got to go out and find those places, those clusters, those neighborhoods where it makes sense for you to beat the street, to go out there, introduce yourself, show off your work a little bit, and establish yourself as the local expert. You want to be the go-to guy in your community. And the way to do that is to prove it. And the way to prove it is to make sure they know you exist and to show up and show them who you are. Introduce yourself with some presentation folders or flyers and some photos of your work, so you can try to earn that business in the future for local folks.
Dude, great point. Cody and I, we have an event down there every now and then. It's called Serious Starter. To your point, I took a poll in the class. And people get started in a business. They think everybody knows who they are. It's a weird thing. It's like a Dunning-Kruger. I don't know what it would be. It's fine. I don't know what it would be classified as, where you start your business. You're like, well, I put out a Facebook post and I didn't get no calls. It's like, I took a poll. I said, raise your hand in the class if you've if you've never heard of me. And half the class raised their hand. The other half had never heard of Cody.
I'm like, y'all to leave, get out.
I was like, get the I've never heard of it, cut me deep. No, it just goes to show, you think, we have tons of views, tons of videos, right? We've been doing this a while. A lot of innovations have come out of that camp. and you think, oh, everybody knows who we are. No, actually, it humbles you. It gets back down to the nitty gritty marketing. No one knows who you are. You need to tell people a lot of times for them to even hear you the first time. That's, is that what you're saying, Chris? It's like you can't just think that your whole church knows that you started because you made a Facebook post. You really got to talk to people. You got to impress yourself upon them in your message.
Exactly. Putting up a yard sign on the most popular corner in town doesn't mean you put up a billboard there. It means you've got a small presence that some people might recognize, but we talk a lot about multiple touches in marketing where you have to be seen and heard multiple times before you get stuck in someone's brain. It's that 3 to 7 times mentality of you have to be there. You've got to establish yourself. So when you've got the yard sign and when you're going out and glad handing people and when you're doing demos and when you're meeting with, your local community leaders or your HOA, if you're in a community with a lot of HOAs, meet with those folks, meet with those boards, show yourself, put yourself in front of people multiple times, multiple platforms, including in person, which a lot of people shy away from. I think that's huge and goes a long way into establishing yourself as, hey, did you get that job done by such and such company, or did you get that job done by Aaron? Did you get that
Right.
job done by Cody? And
Right.
once they know you that way, then you can safely ask that question. You can safely get those referrals because you've established a relationship. It's no longer about what company did you use, it's who did you use.
Right. Absolutely. Cody, when he was washing, I think they probably peaked a little over 200,000 a year in right in the middle of nowhere Roanoke. Like a lot of people who would live in Roanoke would say you can't make that money in Roanoke. Well, you lack vision, and people, the people, what does they say? When the people lack vision, the people perish. My God, you see what I'm saying? So it's like he was able to do that. He has a way because he goes out and meets people. He knew people. He'd approach people and say, "Hey, that's dirty. Let me clean it." And eventually, people start knowing you for doing what you do. The biggest issue, Chris, that I've seen is, I guess it's a lack of work ethic. It's an entitlement thing. I don't know what it is. It's guys who are coming from the employee world who have worked for their boss for a long time for a check, right? And now they're coming into the world of creating their own life. They're designing their own life. And that hits you like a brick wall because it used to be, well, that mean old boss, the guy you didn't like, you wondered how the building got there. You wonder how, like, have you ever priced out a parking lot? Like a parking lot, guys, $80,000 just for asphalt,
Just for flat.
just for flat asphalt. So you can drive on something other than mud. Like they don't calculate the risk that guy and the time that guy, that company, that unit of people had put together just so they could have a job, right? To come and do their task, get a check, and go home, right? So now they're in their own world. They are that guy. And they start figuring out, well, daggum, I ain't going to pave a parking lot, $80,000. You see what I'm saying? It's a
Mhm.
spiral quickly downward.
Yep.
So kind of giving these guys a little bit of a kick in the ass to go out and meet these people. And Cody would tell you, if you need to drive an hour to get to some of these more populated areas, do it. Cody would drive to Anniston, he'd drive to Oxford, he'd drive to Auburn. All of these places are 45 minutes to an hour away. And he'd do jobs in Atlanta, like Southern Atlanta, West Atlanta. He'd drive all the way out there just to do roof cleaning jobs. So if you're in the rural area, I'm just gonna wake you up. Like you need to be willing to travel a little bit to do this kind of work if you're gonna be washing. There's business there too, but you need to be willing to travel. Chris, what's our second point?
I had an interesting conversation with the contractor just earlier today, talking about how they rank really well for their hometown. They're in a town of about 500 people, so obviously they're number one there.
She
But as they start to go outside of town and they do Google searches, they see different companies show up in the Google guarantee, that local service ads spot. And those folks are folks who are nowhere near that physical location. They're 45 minutes an hour away. Like you said, they're willing to travel because they know they're going to come and get a job.
The cherry picking, baby. I
Yep.
like that.
Yep. But that just having the Google guaranteed and the local service ads, the home service ads, that's what gives them that competitive edge. They're able to show up in places where they're physically not because of that. So I think if you're not already doing it, we've talked about it a couple of videos ago. I know local service ads, home service ads. Try to get that Google guaranteed and try that out and see if that's going to be a good model for your business. Again, is it more work on your part? Absolutely. LSAs are and home service ads are meant to be done by the contractor, by the company, not by an agency necessarily.
Mm.
But you've got a big potential for win there because if the ROI works for you, if you can expand your network, it's like what if you could take your Google business profile page and make it effective over a much larger radius? That's basically what you're betting on here. Google Guaranteed is a way for you to expand your effective radius for a map listing just by paying for the ad.
And
Google, yeah,
a lot of people, I know a lot of contractors. Look, if you're a blue collar guy out there, take some notes because I want you to grow. But it's a lot of blue collar guys are not going to figure this out. They're not going to try to figure it out. It's not that they can't. They can. They're just going to be like, well, I guess it ain't going to work out. That's the first use. That's the first excuse. Or two, it was like, I'm just going to try to do it and huff it out here. And then eventually, 6 to 8 months, winter hits, and that business is a thing of the past.
Yep.
So if you're new in the game, Chris, if they have a website with you, I know you guys can't really do the intervening on local service ads, right? You can't do this for them. But if they have a website with you guys, can you guys just kind of like get on the phone and tell them what to do first? Is that something that you could help them with in that regard?
Absolutely. What's great about us is we've got the marketing team here, so everyone's got their marketing consultant they go to, and they are your go-to person for any marketing question. A lot of people kind of always have the mindset for some reason that we're just about the website and they ask
Right.
website questions only, but that's definitely not the case. Our marketing teams have experience in social and in branding and in referral program creation. A whole bunch of options where they can help to educate you and point you in the right direction and take you as far as we can for some of those things. Like for one thing, we don't do vinyl vehicle wraps, for example. We'll get you as far as we can. We'll help you to come up with an idea for what should be on that plan. We've had folks who give us their samples and they say this is what they're proposing. What do you guys think? And we'll help them out. We'll give them some pointers. So yeah, absolutely, we'll take it. We'll help you as far as we can, no matter what the format, LSAs, print work, whatever it is. We'll guide you as far as we can. If we can't do, even if we can't do it 100% for you.
Cool. Yeah. I know guys that would, acronyms and difficult things. It's like, okay, who do I need to call? What information do I need to get them? What Cody and I have found, even especially with chemicals, right? A lot of this information, all on the damn website. Wild as hell. But some guys they want to talk to somebody about how to do the LSA and then go do exactly what the Google told them to do step by step. So, hey, if you need help with that, you got a Footbridge website, call your marketing person over there and they'll probably point you to the Google page and let you.
I mean, we will read it aloud for you so that you can be reinforced. Some people learn by hearing. So you know what? That works.
That's right. That is correct, man. All right. So local service ads can allow you to get into some of those areas and live at the top of Google in some of those more populated areas. If I was a guy and I was, how do I say this? If I was in Cody's area, right? Roanoke, Alabama, middle of nowhere, I would put my local service ads into some of those. Like I wouldn't try to do Atlanta, right? Because I know there's a lot of competition in Atlanta, right? I would start doing some of these little offshoots like Carrollton, Georgia. You see what I'm saying? Like some of these little areas that are on the way, LaGrange. I'd put a bunch of money into LaGrange. LaGrange's got some money over there. It's not rich town, but it's got a little money. They got some nice areas. A lot of concrete. They got a college there, right? They got some stuff. You see Noonan, Auburn. See Cody's in the chat, right? Putting your local service ads in some of those areas as well to where you're not paying the big budget like you would for Birmingham or Atlanta, but you do have a population and you make up in volume, right? What you would lack if you tried to I'm going to go drive to Atlanta every week, All right, saddle up, as Cody and I say. Cool. So number 2 is local service ads. Chris, what's the third way that these guys can generate some business?
An interesting one. An interesting one that I think most people don't think about because for some reason a lot of contractors don't even know about it yet still. It's called EDDM, Every Door Direct Mail. If you don't want to canvas, if you don't want to, walk around town and put door hangers on doorknobs, EDDM is like that, but done for you by the Postal Service. So you literally sign up and you pick out a postal route. It's a really cool interactive map where it shows you this is the zip code or these are the areas, these are the routes where we're going to put postcards in every single one of these mailboxes for you. You don't need to know their names. You don't need to know their addresses. You actually pay cheaper shipping than you would on just a regular postcard. And it's a great way to target specific areas, especially you've got a specific community. Maybe you've got a subdivision that has got some really nice houses that they maybe have some more liquid cash. They are always trying to keep up with themselves. You could target those folks by setting an EDDM campaign there, every door direct mailer campaign. If you're not accustomed to how to do that, again, our marketing consultants can help out. We also have footbridgemarketing.com, which is like the print side of what we do. They also, Harley over there is great. He'll help to push, to help shape your plan for you. It's very interesting. If you haven't looked into it before, it's a great way to basically automate your canvassing. You don't have to go out there and beat the street anymore for some of these things. I'm not saying don't go out there,
Sure.
but for some of these things, add an extra customer touch point, do these EDDM postcards, and get yourself in front of every household, and do it once, and then come back again in 4 weeks and do it again. You need multiple touches to reinforce, and that way you get into every single household, into your target areas multiple times. Put a coupon on it, make it something sticky where they're going to maybe put it on the fridge.
Yeah.
And when they think about, I'm going to do this maybe later on this year, or I'm going to do this whenever, so that when they see your Facebook ad again, or when they see your truck, or when they see another postcard, they're reminded, oh yeah, I did have this offer, I did do this thing. And it's a great way to hit a huge number of people
Sure.
with doing very little work.
Sure. I love that. Every door direct mail is a great way to target the affluent, to, start to drive some revenue, and it will pay off, guys, if you do the process. And you can't just do it one time. That's where guys mess up. Okay. They send out a batch. They're like, I sent out 1,000. It's like, well, that's just not enough.
Yep. I'm done now, right?
No, you got to send out a lot. So a lot of times the initial investment is a deterrent for guys, because every door direct mail is cheap per piece, but you've got to do thousands of those to thousands of houses to really see the ROI. One of my favorite ways is the retargeting of the customers with the physical mail. This is a newer thing that has come about, to where, every door direct mail was just a blanket carpet bomb, right, to a zip code. Well, nowadays there's programs out there that you can, distinctly target old customers who have used your service before, and you could target them with physical mail and a deal. And this is a completely different situation than cold marketing. This is not cold anymore. They've used you. They've gotten your emails. They've gotten your invoice. They paid the invoice, right? They know the quality of the service. And if the branding is on point and they remember you, now you're sending mail physical. As soon as the season comes back around, you start peppering them with emails and start peppering them with targeted physical mailers with a deal on it. Those old customers are going to convert again. I mean, they want to do business with you again. A lot of people think that people don't want to spend money. No, they want to give you their money. You just have to remind them. They've got lives. They literally have travel ball for like 4 different app dance, travel with baseball, travel with football. And these are the people you want to target. They're doing travel. The people you want to target are doing travel. Okay. That's a different type of guy. He's got his wife drives like a Toyota Land Cruiser. He's got like a nice Raptor, right? You're trying to put the little bomb in the mailbox, and you can break that cycle of the customer kind of being in their life, their lull, if you hit them physically with the mail and you hit them digitally with email. And heck, man, why not just call them? I'll be damn. You could call them again and say, hey, it's that time of year. Just wanted to give you a buzz. Do 10, 15 of those a day. Just 10 or 15. That's nothing. A regular salesman, if a salesman's doing work, right? He's doing 60, 70 calls a day. If a salesman's doing work, I know that. That's a standard. 70 calls a day. That's where he should be living. So if you do 15 to your old clients who've already given you money, guys, there's no excuse. You can just build on the list year after year after year. Eventually it gets so big you can't call them all. That's the greatest problem you could ever wish for, you know? So we got some great comments in the chat. Yep. See, Wright says we have great success with follow up and contacting previous customers. Why is it so novel? You know,
It's a
why is it?
strange thing that people don't realize. I mean, you've spent so much time and money and effort to make a customer happy, and then most of the time, that's it. They don't ever that that contact list or whatever, however you do it, Rolodex doesn't matter. That just sits and grows dust. I've never understood that. You've got to reach out. It's you've already made them happy. They already like you. They're
Yeah.
predisposed to liking you.
No, they don't like me. They don't. They'll call me if they
Well,
need
yeah, I
me.
mean, you should have
You
a separate
know?
list for people who you know don't like you, and not don't they don't get a Christmas card.
I think it's a. I think Cody and I talk about this. It's like kind of a country, a country thing, where you're like, I don't want to bother them.
Yeah.
It's like a deep seated thing. That's not necessarily the narrative or the line that comes into your head or the thought, but it's a vibe of how they live. I don't want to bother them. You think you're bothering someone. And when I first started my business, Chris, about month 3, I got real indignified because I was poor. Okay. So I made a rule with myself that there are no holidays and there are no like criteria or parameters on the day. Meaning Sunday at lunch, I'll call you. 5 p.m., you're eating dinner with your family, I'm calling you. I don't care. I couldn't care because I was poor. So I had to like make the calls. And one thing I found, and this is probably true for a lot of guys watching, is that if you create fictional parameters on the day, right? Oh, can't call on Sunday. That's the Lord's day, right? Or they're eating lunch with their family. Can't call them at this time. I might be bothering them. One thing you'll do is you'll start making shit up. You'll start having a reason why you can't call them after 5 any day. Then you'll make some shit up. Oh, well, today's blah, blah, blah day. It's Veterans Day. Don't call them on Veterans
It's
Day.
Arbor Day. They're probably out
It's
planting a tree. We probably
Arbor
shouldn't call them.
Day. You're making shit up. You're trying to get away from doing the thing that needs to be done. So one thing I did is I did a complete blanket scalpel removal of all of those parameters just so I could reset myself back at 0 on the expectation of calling people. And if I did that, one thing I do is I started closing stuff on Sunday. Yeah, sorry, man. Hey, sorry to get back to you. Yeah, we're just here at the house. Come this week. Does it work for you? I'll be damned. He wasn't mad at me. Right. So if you guys deal with that, I know some of you do because I know and I hear all the stories. We got channels, right? We have a kind of a pulse of comments that come in and just a general vibe doing some of the events of hearing guys' stories and try to lose that thought. Try to take that thought and, as we say, throw it in a ditch. Get rid of it because that will make you poor. You will eventually invent a bunch of reasons why you shouldn't do what Chris is talking about here today. And all of those are a quick greased slide to poverty, and you should not do them. What Chris is trying to teach you guys with local service ads, with the physical mail, every door direct mail, and with going out and shaking hands and kissing babies, walking into some of these apartment complexes that are nasty visually from the road, you'll change the game for yourself. The cool part about our business, Chris, is that you can see shit that's nasty. Wild as hell. You can see it from the road. It's got algae growing off the side of the building. It ain't like an HVAC problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could
No,
drive past the air
you're
conditioner that's not working and
like
never know.
that's a real loud one. Let's go that way. Turn right. You know,
You
what's
know what I
funny
mean?
is I see it all the time. You know, I drive by this subdivision sign, and in Florida, where you know where there's a lot of rust in the water. You know, so we got those irrigation systems go off and they just, paint things orange.
Yep.
And I drive by this association sign that's got orange stains on it all the time. And the other day I saw a pressure washing yard sign next to it. No thought to maybe I should call the people whose name are on this thing and clean it for them and then put my name here and say, like this project, and point at it.
Right. No,
And it's yeah.
I'm just gonna do that little it's I don't know what you would call it, but just like that passive aggressive move. I'm gonna stick a sign here and then run. You know what I mean? No, I'm gonna go talk to you and your manager. I'm gonna sell you on this rust removal first off. I'm gonna get the money today, by God, if you're poor and you're in bad situation, or you schedule them down the line if you got some business rolling. And then put a sign out there, like Chris is saying. Stop being so, Chris, what's the word for it's passive aggressive in a way. It's like this, like, I'm gonna stick it here and run away. I'm gonna, like,
Yeah, it's like these contractors are too introverted, and you get
right.
when you're a business owner, you have to be able to talk to people. You got to be able to reach out. You turn that on. That could be your persona. You don't have to, you don't have to be out there and mingling when you're at parties. You could be the guy quiet in the corner, but when you put on your I'm a pressure washer hat or I'm a landscaper hat, you are a different person. You are the boss. You got to act like the boss.
When this cigar lights up, shit's going down, son.
There you go. That's how you know.
Chris, man, this has been a great video. Guys, thanks for tuning in today. I hope you learned something from this and maybe got a little entertainment out of it as well. Thanks for the guys in the chat. Cody, see, I love this, man. We lean into this heavy. The quiet guy type ain't a virtue in business, right? You be quiet and stoic at the house, but stoic in your business gonna make you poor. You better get out there and be enthusiastic about what you're doing. So Chris, thanks for coming on, man. Guys, listen, you want to get a website done, give Footbridge Media a call, mention Lean and Mean to secure the discount. I'll see you guys in the next video.